Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the House considers the defense appropriation bill today that costs the American people $831 billion, it's important to talk about that this is the funding for our great men and women serving in our military and our nation's defense. The Department of Defense's mission statement is to deter war and ensure our nation's security, and that is worthy of the American people's hard-earned tax dollars. However, the American people are $37 trillion in debt, so this is money that is being spent that they already don't have. My amendment would strike $500 million in funding for nuclear-armed Israel's missile defense system. And it's important to phrase it that way. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation, which is very capable of defending themselves, and they have been proving that so as we've watched on the world stage. The U.S. already provides Israel with $3.8 billion annually in foreign aid. $3.8 billion, that's a lot of money. Additionally, the April 2024 security supplemental included $8.7 billion for Israel. That is nuclear-armed Israel. And during the recent 12-day war, the U.S. used 15 to 20% of our terminal high-altitude area defense missiles stockpiles defending nuclear-armed Israel, which cost us over $800 million. The $500 million provided in this bill will fund Israel's, that is nuclear-armed Israel's, missile defense system, the Iron Dome, David Sling, Arrow system. Yet Israel is a nuclear-armed nation. That's a pretty big deterrent for any of their enemies. Any nation that has a nuclear bomb has the greatest threat against their enemies. U.S. aid typically accounts for 15 to 20% of Israel's defense budget, even though Israel, nuclear-armed Israel, has universal health care for their citizens and subsidized college for their citizens. They're able to provide that. However, here in America, we're $37 trillion in debt. My amendment to strike $500 million in foreign aid will ensure an America First Department of Defense, and that is exactly what we need and we haven't had for a very long time. Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. For what purposes, gentleman from California seek recognition?
I rise in opposition to the amendment.
Gentleman is recognized.
The gentlelady's amendment would strike $500 million in funding for the vital Israeli missile defense capability. Over the past 2 years, Israel repeatedly has been attacked by Iran and its terrorist proxy groups, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. Each time, these groups have vowed to destroy the state of Israel. The United States have affirmed our resolve to stand with Israel by helping defend against the recent missile raids launched by Iran against Israel's civilian population. The success of Israel's robust missile defense capability is in part because these funds were provided in this bill and prior bills. Furthermore, this funding benefits our own missile defense industrial base as it provides for co-production activities and shared technology development. It's certainly to our mutual advantage. With that, I urge a no vote on the amendment and reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves.
Oh, would yield 90 seconds to the ranking member and gentlelady from Minnesota.
Gentleman yields. The gentleman reserves. The gentlelady from Minnesota is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to this amendment. To be clear, I have disagreements with Prime Minister Netanyahu's government. Israel totally had the right to defend itself after the heinous attacks on October 7th, and all the hostages should come home. But the Israeli military campaign has been an absolute tragedy for the people of Palestine. The people of Gaza are in desperate need of more humanitarian relief, which I strongly support. But the funding in this bill does not support offensive weapons for Israel. That's funding in a separate appropriations bill. This bill provides for defensive measures only, like Iron Dome, which I support. Safety is what everyone in the region deserves. Israeli children deserve to go to bed at night knowing that missiles from Yemen, Iran, or from the Houthis or anywhere else in the region will not rain down on them. And Palestinian children deserve to go to bed at night knowing that their schools, their hospitals, and their homes will not be bombed. And that's what we all need to work towards peace. I urge the defeat of this amendment, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields. Gentlewoman from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Israel is a nuclear-armed nation, and they're less than $400 billion in debt. They are quite a thriving and successful nation. Their economy is strong. They're doing a great job for their people. However, the United States, the American citizens, are $37 trillion in debt. Yet we're continuing to send hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign aid constantly to foreign countries. This has to end at some point. Our problems here at home for Americans and the American taxpayer that are paying for all of this have gotten too large. And I also want to point out that Israel bombed a Catholic church in Gaza, and that an entire population is being wiped out as they continue their aggressive war in Gaza. Now, we are heartfelt about the October 7th tragedy, that when people were killed, innocent people were killed. However, at some point, the United States needs to recognize that Israel is a strong country. They are nuclear armed, and they are capable of defeating their own enemies. It's right to stop funding this, as we give them $3.8 billion every single year anyways. Mr. Speaker, I ask for support for my amendment, and I yield the remainder of my time.
Gentlewoman yields back. The gentleman from California is recognized.
I yield 60 seconds to the gentleman from Florida.
Gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in opposition to this America Last amendment and reject the premise of the arguments that are being made. There are 600,000 Americans who live in Israel, and one rocket has been fired against every 23 of them. 26,000 rockets since October 7th. 43 Americans killed. On October 7th, 12 taken hostage. But more importantly, the research that this fund is the premise behind the Golden Dome. When we support research and development for the Iron Dome, we are creating the capability for the United States to defend itself as well. And I have news. We have a nuclear weapon, too. That doesn't get you off the hook with those who are out to get you. When we pass this, when we oppose this amendment, when we vote it down, we are not only standing with Israel, we are standing with the best interests of the United States. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman yields.
Yield back to balance my time.
Gentleman yields back the balance of his time. Okay. The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Georgia. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have